Hello everybody and welcome to the event review for the upcoming event Nihil Heroes. This will be for the week of June the 7th, 2024. Now before we get started, a bit of a follow-up on last week's video because I had some rather spicy opinions about that event. The one thing I will say they did well is the Awakenings actually wound up being net profitable to use your Contract Starry Gems on. So if you did 1,000 Contract Starry Gems to buy the ones you can get free to play, then that would usually get you more than 1,000 back. I think between my 4 accounts, I probably got 6,000 or 7,000 worth of Awakens out of it. So do that because, I mean, it's free. You are just getting back the same currency you're spending. There is some risk to it, but unless you are really tight on them, I would probably consider going in for that. So that is the one good thing I will say about last week's event, and the one thing that I think you should participate in, even though I think the rest of the event was kind of, yeah. Anyway, that was last week. On to this week's event. This week we finally have a Profiter event that doesn't suck for the first time since Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving back in November. So, the basics are the same as usual. It's Heroic Miracle, it's your Profit Orbs. But this is the event currency for the week, Dragon Boat tickets, and it also comes with special Treasure Train tickets, which is always a good sign. Yeah, you get 22 of these per loop, so you can max that out and get 176. We'll go through the numbers as we go, but that's the starting point. Fantasy Factory is the same as usual. There's nothing special there. But those tickets, I'll go into the details, but basically every 10 of these is a Dragon Boat, more or less. So as you go through, you get all those. You can get up to a maximum. There's 4 different colors. You can get 20 of each, so 80 Dragon Boats. That's 800 total tickets. And the prizes for that you can see here. And if you get all of them, you get the usual max at the event reward. Now, a couple things to note here. First of all, they are including a lot of treasure in this, which is nice. And from the looks of it, the details are a bit unclear, but it looks like you can generally pick what kind you want. So if you're going to get 20 boats total, you can say I want 20 all in one color and get this tier of rewards. You can say I want 10 in each of 2 colors and get this tier of rewards. So different treasure and core versus sub chest, basically, and star versus crystals, obviously. Likewise, yeah, it goes the same for the others. If you have 40, you can get to this point and get these 4 rewards, or you can get 3 10 each, 4 10 each, you get these rewards. Now, the basics for this, basically any reward tier that requires at least 40 total boats gives you 2 top rewards. So 20 in 2 colors, 20 in 3 colors, 20 in 4 colors, or 10 in 4 colors. Each give double rewards. That works out to a total of 12 top rewards if you max out that part of the event, plus 3 here. So 15 total. And yeah, you also get obviously the treasures. And the other thing to note is there's a lot of origin artifacts here that are more accessible than I would have expected. So for 40 total boats, basically that's the relay plus a single Contract Starry Gem value pack. You can get 3 origin artifact chests, which is not too bad. For low to mid spenders, this is the first time you can get a decent number at a non-terrible price. So that's something. But the downside is free to play, you're only getting 2 of these reward tiers. So you're only getting 2 top rewards. You can pick whether you want the core, the sub, or the stellar, but you're only getting a total of 2. So that's a little bit unfortunate. There's no extra artifact from the side events, the way there sometimes is. So it's a little bit weak for a big event, but it's not terrible. And it's got a couple nice features to it as well. The other thing I like is at this first level, they are including Essence. That isn't useful for most players, but if you're either late game enough to have used up all your Glory Challenge Essence, or you're in that, slightly sour spot before you can do the full Glory Challenge, but after you've got like the heroes you need and the food you need and the stellar you need, this can be nice. So that is a slight improvement. Anyway, that's that part of the event. They've also got Zongzi fillings, which is not the same as past Zongzi events. This isn't one of the ones where you get the random number draws and the ×3 or ×5 or ×10 bonuses. It's just one of the usual, like, do a little treasure, get the reward, and if you pick the right thing, you get an extra little bit. So 25 of these, total cost 25,000 gems, and that gets you 25 of these random rewards plus a pink treasure. We don't know the stats on the treasures, but they are for campaigns, so that's, more useful than a lot of sets. I think these will probably wind up being fairly good, but we'll have to see. There's also the Q&A event, which is basically you get a bunch of these, a total of 54 for free. That 54 plus the 176 on the orbs is 230, which is the most you can get free to play. And 230 at 10 per boat is 23 boats, so you can get 20 of them. There's the usual big event treasure thing. Every $6 you spend gets you a ticket, plus all the tickets that are included above. These ones and these ones. So, yeah, you get... It's the same as every big event's been for the last year or so. But again, hey, free treasures and usually fairly good ones. Not bad. There's a relay. It's $97, and that gets you a total of 2,700 Prism Starry Gems. Yeah, this is basically the same numbers we've seen a lot of times. Your Artifact Essence, your Prisms, 25, 30 cores, 50 scrolls. And the number that really matters is you get 120 of the event currency. You also get your double reward and your fast clear of the Lollipop Factory, which this is not really part of the event this week, so this isn't super valuable, but between that and some extra 35 lollipops, it'll help you a bit there. You might get to an extra artifact out of the deal. So that's something. And lastly, the value packs. These are event value packs. If you do the math, you're going to wind up having 3 of the money ones and 2 of the Contract Star Gem ones at each level. So in order to max it out, you are going to need $300 packs, $350 packs, and the relay at $97, which is a total of $547, plus your 7,500 Contract Star Gems, plus your orbs. So it's not the most expensive event we've seen, but for the ones where it isn't VIP and just spend on whatever, you have to spend on specific things, it is on the expensive side. Now, the rewards are not bad for that, but it is on the expensive side. And you're going to get, actually, looking at that, you're going to get a lot of lollipops that aren't even really useful once you get that many of them. You are going to get 75 times 5 is 375, plus 35 is 410, plus the free-to-play ones. You're getting 500 lollipops at 10 stars each. You're getting 5,000 of these stars. You can't really spend that many. You're just going to wind up saving up a ton of Aurora stars, which isn't the worst thing, but it's a little underwhelming for you going that deep into the event and there isn't really a reward to use that up. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's basically what we get off the English spoiler is 547 to max it. You get 2 tiers of rewards free to play, and a bunch of treasure thrown in, which looks like it might be decent. Now, there's a couple extra notes on the Chinese side we'll flip over to. The first thing is, I did gloss over the details of how exactly you turn the tickets into dragon boats because it is a little unclear, but I think we've got a sense of it from here. So essentially, you get this Realgar wine as a separate thing. That is not the event currency. That isn't, where they go? That isn't these guys. It's a separate thing. And that lets you auto-arrange the components because basically every time you use 4 of the event currency, you get a component of a random color and random shape, and the component, you get 4 things of it. And then if you get 10, it's a row. Yeah, it's a mess. It's complicated. It's hard to be sure of what's going on. And it looks like this has some randomness to it. So if you remember my video from about a month ago where I was talking about how there might be hidden RNG, it turned out there wasn't in that event. But just to understand the math of it, if something like this is randomized, you don't get to pick whether you've got, I want 10 of this color and 10 of that color, or I want 20 of this color. You can't do that if it's random. So you could wind up in a situation where you get, you use 36 boats worth, you get 9 boats of each color and no rewards. That would be possible if it's random. I don't think it is, but I think this Realgar wine is how they avoid that. Basically, there is some randomness to it, but you can use this to force certain outcomes, I think. This is pure guesswork. We'll have to see how the event looks, but from reading this, I think that's the way that makes sense. Because it's also like fairly cheap. It's only 100 gems each, and it's unlimited. So you can spend some extra gems in order to force the outcomes you want. Or you can just, let the dice give you what the dice give you. And I think that is how they make this a little more workable and let you actually tailor your rewards. So if you do want to get specific outcomes, you're probably looking at spending some extra gems. I mean, worst case, there's a maximum of 80 boats. If each one of these gives you one boat, that's 8,000 gems. For the scale of an event this size, that's not that much. And if you're free to play, you're only doing 20 boats, so it's 2,000 gems. It's not that much, even before you consider the freebies. So I expect we'll be able to force it without an overly high cost, but we will have to see exactly how this works, because frankly, I'm a little bit confused, and I'm using guesswork to fill in the details. The other thing to note, it does specify exactly how you get the Zongzi for this event. It's 1,000 gems each. And it does specify the usual thing of festivals where every $6 you spend, you get a free treasure train ticket. So that's nice. The price for this are in English. Yeah, all of the rest of this is in English. So, overall, what do I think of the event? Well, I certainly hated it a lot less than the existing week's event. It's a lot better than that one, but it's a little underwhelming for a big event. And the fact that it's coming 2 weeks before anniversary is really awkward as well. If anniversary was the week after this, I could say, okay, save your money until the final day, watch my video next week, and I'll go through which one you want to spend your money on, because we'll have the preview before this event ends. But they've pushed anniversary back a bit. It's going to be the week of the 21st, meaning it's not the week after this. There's going to be a Sky Labyrinth week in the middle with probably very little going on. And that means you won't be able to wait and see what's going on with anniversary before you choose whether to buy this or not. And 547 is on the high end for these events. And 15 top rewards if you max out is on the low end. So the treasure balances it out a little. But overall, it's a little bit weak for an event this size. Like obviously, free-to-play player getting an artifact and a core chest is really a lot better than most normal events. Like a normal week, you don't get that. But by the standards of a big event, by the standards of one of the ones where they expect people to be spending more money, it's not that impressive. Like it's sort of a C+. It's got a couple good things going on, but it's not that good. And yeah, that's a little disappointing as well, because it's normally they've done about one of these a month, and they seem to be making them happen a little more often, which again fits into that icky, I think they're milking us feeling. And it's far enough away from the other one that you can't even pick which one you want to buy. You've got to wait. You got to decide what you're spending on this one and then wait to see if anniversary is better or not. So this does feel a little bit off to me. By itself, I mean, there are a couple good stopping points here. Like if you do the numbers, Relay plus the one Contract Star Gem pack will get you 41 boats. That's enough to get you to this point. Actually, let's flip back to the English, because I like being able to read the graphics as well as the text. That gets you to this point, and that's 3 Origin artifacts. That's great. So that part is nice. There's certain stopping points. I think that's really the best stopping point for most people, if you're going to spend a little bit. But honestly, like, there's something to be said for just, get your 20 boats, get a core chest or a sub chest, and don't go crazy with it. Use up some of those orbs that have been saved up. God knows we've all got a million of them at this point. But don't kill yourself over it. Yeah, like, if... It's like I say in so many of these videos. If you're going to max the event, you're probably the sort of person who maxes a lot of events. You're spending a lot of money on this game. More power to you. But for people who are a little more tight-fisted about how they play, I don't think this is it. I don't think this is quite where you want to be, unless you are like really keen to try out an Origin artifact. If you've got one from a previous event and this 3 will let you actually get yourself a Splendid Origin artifact and try out that really cool thing on your main damage dealer, that I think is the use case where you go in on this event. And for that sort of person, this isn't a bad event. It actually is fairly decent. But for just about anyone else, I'm not feeling it. Unless the treasures wind up being like really top notch, I'm not feeling it. So that's about where I'm at on this one. We'll talk again next week about the events on that one, and hopefully that one's a quiet week, because God, if it's a bait week, they're really going for it. But we'll see. Yeah. Thank you very much, and have a good one. Bye.